a minute now, so 30 seconds. Yeah, okay, I have Paul first, so I guess I'll start with Paul. So I'll give everybody like a positive and like a feedback on what you need to work on. So first, a positive, Paul. I like that you have very good work ethic and you know you like to learn by yourself and do research whenever you need to achieve a new topic or reach a certain goal for things. Like you did a lot of research on Arduino or even on your own project about the scissor lift. So I like that you're also like very helpful to others. Like doesn't matter what group you're in, like you help all the groups, so like you're everybody's helper. And so that's a really good thing about you. And then for feedback that need to work on, I think you would just need to control like taking on too much responsibility where you would put your own progress behind like on your own scissor lift versus
Other
other
groups.
groups, right? So like worry about just so that you don't, you know, affect your own grades or your own progress before you start helping others. Like it's a good thing to help, right? But make sure you got yourself in check first, right? That's all I do. And then yeah, and then for H2, for positive, like I think I like your commitment to the brochure and how dedicated you are, and you did like research on. I like that you used the AI to do the pictures and stuff. That was a good idea, and I like that you have always have like new ideas to bring to the table whenever we have like these conversations. So you always have giving your own input on what you think we should do about things, and then for feedback about improvement would be your attendance and just communication. I'd like to see you more here in school because there's some days you're not here when we need you, or you know, like you mentioned how sometimes we're not on the same page, and by being here more often, that would help you be on the same page, right? Like, because you can only communicate so much through virtual, but in person is best.
That's true.
Right? For you, I kind of don't have a lot of negatives. I to really think, but for positive, like you're really good at scheduling things, keeping everything on track. So like that carried our team with that. Like I like how you do like you initiate things right away, but before like if you have something due a month from now, you're already thinking 10 steps ahead on what to do. So that's really good. Like that's such a big help because like it kept everybody on track. Like, okay, guys, like okay, you would always give us updates on guys, this is gonna be due next week. This is what we have to do this week. So that helped us a lot to stay on pace and make sure we didn't miss anything. Uh, I also like that you hear so often you have a lot of connections, right? Because their communication is the best. Like that saved us even the laser cut thing that we had today, and that saved their project. Or just talking to people on what to need. I think so. Like you're really good at like managing what resources you have and using them to the best, right? And then that's about it. I don't know. For me, for like uh, work, the only thing I could think of was like in the beginning, maybe just like setting realistic deadlines. Like I think in the very beginning you said something about like oh we need to have the coding done
Mm.
but then like just to make sure like the sequence of
Yeah.
what needs to be done first. But like really it's not really. I don't know. It's like setting deadlines that are like
More accurate.
yeah more accurate to the project. But that's about it, I think. And I think I still need a bit more couple minutes, so I guess I'll give feedback about the course itself. So I think yeah, this course teaches a lot about leadership and how it's important. As you, like you saw, like having a good leader at a group like really makes or break a group, right? Like I'll have you as a leader because like you kept us on track. Like if you had somebody that didn't communicate as well, like it would be hard for the group to keep moving forward. And also, so you can see how important communication is, right? I guess that this class kind of emphasized that again. How like when we had our first meeting, we actually got progress done like through that meeting, like we saw things that we didn't see
Yeah.
beforehand, right? So that was good. And then yeah, I think that's about it for me for about the class and feedback for you guys.
Thank you, Zaris. All right, we go on to H2.
Uh, I'm going to give feedback on people in the group. I want to start with Paul. Paul, you have the part about you is that you have a lot of information about Arduinos and about coding, and I know how to troubleshoot really good. when we needed to do that. You also kept us in the loop whenever something not working, so we make sure that we know what's wrong with this, what isn't, um, which made sure that it made us finish the like I said, like the motors on time. Made us like make sure the claw is strong enough to pull it open. You made sure everything else is good. Um, but like like Zara said, you need to you need to tone it down on helping other groups. Maybe if we had more time on our part, we'd be able to like just make it a little better than it is right now. Otherwise, you've done a really good job. I'm really happy that you're part of our group, especially that we fortunately lost one member of our group uh, as they left the program. So uh, having his help and his input, we really pushed us to get to where we are right now. Um, uh, Same thing with V. V has a really strong um, has really strong leadership in our group. He makes sure that we're always on time, like he says. He makes sure that we remember what we need to do. That we make sure that we have everything done on time. And he would troubleshoot stuff even when it feels like everything is okay, just to make sure that we have everything done already. Um, uh, we, we will also make sure to test stuff, just make sure that there isn't any flaws that we're not able to see. Like for example, you were talking about like the screws and whatever. When he checked when he checked if we have the correct screws or if we're able to use different screws to make sure that everything's intact in our project. Continuing on with Zaris, he basically carried a group. He made sure that the all SolidWorks SolidWorks files are done and they are packed and go. Even though he did have some issues with V, because they both came from a similar background, they ended up using both of their information and both of their experience to better the group instead of just arguing on what's right, what's wrong, which I like that a lot. He made sure to step up when we need help, and he made sure to be understanding of the people and that that weren't on time, like me. And I'm really happy to have him and understanding and and help the rest of the group when he can. To continue, I think I have a couple of minutes left. I wanted to also talk about the class itself. It has it has taught me a lot about leadership and how we should deal with different situations depending on what type of team we are in. In this type of team, it needs each part to have a successful project, but in different teams, we are able to cover up for some stuff. Um, we we also learned how to give feedback like we are right now. We made sure to also take in negative feedback as not just us talking bad about a person, but also to improve from it and to learn from it and to improve from it for the coming years as an engineer. Um, and 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 even though it doesn't seem like as an important course compared to calculus and physics or like engineering materials, but without having this course, we would not be able to continue in our career with the same knowledge that we have right now.
Thank you, H2. I appreciate your feedback
No way.
and input to the group and the project. Moving on to Paul.
Oh, this is a hard one. You guys already said quite a lot. Okay, I'll start.
I got the hardest part. What do you mean?
I'll start with Cyrus. Thanks to his previous work experience and the knowledge he gained with age, you found different solutions to problems that I had that I just couldn't figure out. Like earlier today when I had the trouble with the gear, trying to fit it through and lock it on, you, by suggesting dremeling it so then I have a lock. It made it made everything work now. So
That's good.
so that was very helpful. Um, I don't know what to say about Vaibhav. I think you guys kind of said all. He was very. He was very. He planned a lot of it out so that we don't rush everything at the end, which is a terrible experience. La-
I know.
last
Used
I've
to it.
seen it.
last semester.
I've seen it. I've experienced it.
As for H2, most of the time when you were working, I wasn't here, so I can't really say much. But from what I've heard, that he's been very well with making the brochure and planning out how to do the banner. So I think that's good. Uh, my opinion for the class was really helpful, showing showing the different roles and how important the roles are. And at the beginning, where we had to make the contract,
Mm.
that would have been so much helpful and more helpful in the past
Yeah.
because it assigned the roles to the people to different people, so then people will finish work on time according to their role. Instead of someone finding a problem with another person, they end up arguing, and because the other member didn't do the work, someone else had to fill in that work for them. So I learned that was very valuable to do. I think that's it for me.
Oh, thank you, Paul. And thank you for your feedback. I guess this leaves me at the hardest role here to
Repeat.
repeat everything I have said. Well, most of you guys have already said everything that I already wanted to say, but I will try my best to say not what you have said already. Uh, I'm gonna start off with H2. Um, Initially, I'll start with positive first, or you want negatives first? You choose.
First.
Negatives first?
Bad news first roll.
Oh, okay. Where do I start? No, for negatives, I feel like that your attendance could have been much better in terms of how often you are at school and helping with the group, not just helping from outside from home. And I know that you have your things to do at home, and like everyone else, we all do too, but I feel like you could have managed your time a little bit more better where you put your time in what category or how you manage your life um, to to make sure that you also be a part of what we're working on here. I feel like you could have done that a little bit more better. That could have helped you with your attendance, obviously. The second thing I would like to say is communication. If you're not gonna show up, then it would be much better for us to know in terms of, oh, okay, guys, I'm not gonna be coming today. I feel sick or I feel I have to help my parents or whatnot, right? Whatever it may be. A little text, a little quick message to me or to Cyrus or Paul would have been better for us to organize how we're gonna plan the following project or how we're gonna do certain things right for that day rather than just waiting and expecting you to show up, right? Then it just messes up my entire plan or our plan to be said. Um, that's about it, communication and your attendance, right? Um, Also one more thing. Uh, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Initially you have you have a creative mind. That's what I love about you. You're very creative with what you want to do with certain things. Like initially when we started the project, you gave us the 2D drawings. You like, oh, we could do this, we could do that, right? I love that about you. That shows that you have that mind of you're able to see outside the box and create something that no one else can think of. I feel like if you can improve your knowledge in terms of software. How do you build this in 3D modeling or SolidWorks? You're being able to use certain softwares, right? That's where something you can improve on by yourself or even through classes, right? But that's is where you could have put more input of your creativity between me, Cyrus, right? Where we did all the 3D modeling and we tried our best to ask you or get your input onto it, right? Instead of you just putting input, right? You could have also placed your thoughts onto it, right? By applying whatever you want to apply and be like, oh, Cyrus or V, I feel we should try this because this is more structurally stronger or this is a little bit better, right? Um, that's about it, right? As I said, you're an amazing person. I love you. You have a very creative mind, right? And I think that creativity will take you a lot of places, right? It's not like it's gonna limit you, but you gotta focus on how you channel that, right? Okay. All right. Moving on to Paul. 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 Positive or negative?
I would have rolled the dice, but let's go with negative.
All right, negative.
You lose that too?
Negative. Okay. So starting off, again, as I said, I love you guys. I don't want to put anyone down. Please take this as
With a grain of salt.
as a guideline of what you can improve upon. Um, so starting off with negative, I would say that you love to help a lot of groups, which is a good thing, but I feel like you could have put more effort onto your own project or to the group's project, and we could have enhanced our code, or we could have enhanced our drawings, our designs a little bit more with your input, because you do have the knowledge of to code the electronics, the components. You know what size all of our components would be, or if you're using an HP power supply, for example, right? You would know how big that HP size would be, and you could have been a little more help with how to resize our design, right? Um, Whereas you spent that time, you distributed that time with other groups, helping them code their mistakes or whatnot, right? So time management would be a little more on that side where you could improve on. Some positives. Um, there's a lot, man, but overall, you love to help people. You have again that creative mindset where you just out of random times you just be like, oh, let's try this, and somehow it just works, right? And in our final product, we can see that, oh, you have tried gears, you have tried railings with gears, you've tried so many different things, and you've done trial and error. And the outcome of today's project is it's amazing, right? You have done so much with the creative mindset and your electrical components, the knowledge that you have with coding Arduino, the wiring, uh, hands down, like that's amazing. Like I personally would love to improve myself upon like the just the wirings and electronics, knowing how to code with Arduino would be amazing for myself. So that was a big asset from you in terms of the electrical components, and it it was a major play for us. So thank you for your input and being part of our group. Yeah. Last but not least, Zaris. Can I say, bro? You've been there for us through thick and thin. I'll give you the option since I give the option to everyone. Positive, negative.
Everybody went negative first, so let's go with it.
Let's go with negative. Okay. Um, I do understand that you have a lot of personal resources at home, like 3D printing and the equipment that you need in order to make the project the way it looks today. I feel like obviously I'm not gonna ask you to bring all your equipment like 3D printer. Obviously, you can't bring it here, right? But let's say some small things where you need a solder or you need a screw or you need to do small things, right? Not major things. I feel like if you brought the equipment, if let's say the Humber did not have the equipment to provide for that, what you needed to do, if you brought your own equipment with the own group, you could be like, okay, guys, I need help with this. You could have had a group interaction, right? Instead of just completing the whole project by yourself. Oh, right. Yes, we also helped, right? And somehow we found ways to help you assemble, deassemble, put input of, oh, maybe we can do this, right? I feel like it would have been more interactive in terms of assembling the assembling. We could have bonded a little bit better. Um, Another thing would be spending your own money on the project. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. I love you for that. But we do have a budget that we can follow, right? And I feel like the money that you spent towards the small things, the screws or motors, it could have gone towards the bill of materials that we have sent to Humber, right?
Right.
So it was unnecessary for you to be spending your own money on it, right? So I feel like you could, if you came to me like, hey, I have this idea or I'm planning on doing this, if you told me what you're thinking, your thought process behind what you're trying to do, I feel like I could have guided you to be like, okay, you could do this, but maybe get it to our bill of materials. If in worst case scenario, it's like we cannot get you this product or this following items by the end of the semester, then I'll be like, okay, go for it. We'll split the bill. I'll pay you out of my own pocket for whatever expenses you do, right? Um,
Because now the BOM is not accurate. That's how
right.
we. That's true.
So I feel like you could have communicated that portion a little bit better with the team, but overall it was not that bad. Positives. Ooh, there's a list. But main ones, big one for me especially, would be your experience in the industry that you have, with companies that you have worked with, right? As Paul mentioned, or I think it was H2 that mentioned, we did come in a disagreement between our drawings. That is again something that I could learn from you, right? So your experience was a great input in terms of how we enhanced our project to from what it initially started with and what our final product is. There's a humongous difference between where it started and where it is now. And we still are in the testing phase and we're nowhere close in completing the enhancement. So that speaks a lot in terms of what our completed final prototype or our final presentation will be like. So I feel like you were a great asset to our project and you have contributed so much towards the project itself and you were a great help. And me and I and the team, we appreciate you and we love you for all your hard work that you put in. And I feel very honored to be with you guys and working with you guys on this project. So thank you once again for being a part of my team and being a part of the project. And I hope that we can all work again next semester. Hopefully same groups. Right. Um
Paul as an official member.
I with Paul being an official member. Um yeah, I enjoyed working with you guys and I have no words to describe how happy I am and with the outcome, what the project is. Um, but moving on to what I think of the course being teamwork and leadership, what I think about it. I think it's a very valuable course to me, especially because coming in, I didn't really know what it was like to lead a team. Someone as skilled and with experience as Cyrus, leading someone like him was a challenge for me because he knows what it's like to be led by more experienced people than me, right? So I've learned a lot. So to me, leadership is something that I've learned through the course and through obviously the team. Um, Next thing I would say that I've learned most valuable is time management and uh, distribution of how much tasks to give each member of our group, right? Um, in the beginning, it was a bit rough, I would say, because it was mainly all one person or two people doing most of the work and the other two people just sitting around not doing anything. But after initiating the team contract and after everyone signing off, I feel like we all understood our roles more clearly and we had very clear ground rules on where we stand. And I feel from there, everyone's tasks were easily manageable and we could have seen where everyone was with their tasks. Unfortunately, again, Dilpreet isn't with us. She had to leave. But even her input towards the team contract was appreciated and it's great value. Overall, I feel this team has grown and has learned a lot from each other. And I think we can all agree that this project was a success and it will become more successful as we come closer to the presentation date, which is April 22nd, around 11 a.m. So I hope we all keep working together, keep growing, and we can all grow and prosper, become more successful overall in the future. Thank you all for coming for this meeting, and I hope to see you guys again soon.
Don't make me cry, man. Go.
Uh, Welcome back everyone to our second meeting. As you know, the project is coming to an end and we're almost at the finish line. A few more pushes and we're almost done. So that being said, we'll do a quick peer review and feedback on how we think we did as a group. And I'm sure that you guys don't need introductions, but I'll just introduce everyone just in case. My name is Vaibhav. This is Cyrus. H2, we have Paul. To start us off, we're gonna start with Cyrus.